What's up, people? Welcome back to the Boxing Objective. Now, I didn't think I'd be doing another video on these two again, but I think I kind of needed to, because the first video that I did about these two guys was my very first YouTube video. And going back and looking at it and listening to it, I think, doing another one would be a good idea. So we've had the face-off, the date's been made official, and we're going to see Wilder and Fury fight again for a third time. Now, I've made it no secret that I'm not very impressed with Wilder's behaviour recently, and to be honest, there's not a lot to be, very positive about when you think of what's been happening with Wilder over, a period of time since the second fight. And to be fair, a lot of people think that Wilder is not very smart. But the more I think about it, I think maybe we're not giving him enough credit here, because this is actually, when you think about it, show business. They want to put bums in seats. They want people to pay for the pay-per-view. They want there to be interest in this fight. And even though what goes on in that ring when the bell goes is very much real, the other side of it, it does need a bit of, a bit of pantomime to it. And I think Deontay Wilder is playing the perfect pantomime villain right now. Now, there's no other boxer that I know of in recent times that played the pantomime villain better than Floyd Money Mayweather. The thing about that is, he said it himself. If you're paid to see me win or you paid to see me lose, you're still gonna pay. You're still gonna watch the damn fight. And he's right. Now, how many people right now, given all the rubbish that Deontay Wilder has been coming out with, are gonna be happy to pay to watch Tyson Fury do a repeat of the second fight? I rest my case. Now, I don't know if he's doing it deliberately, Deontay Wilder, I don't know if it's planned, I don't know. But either way, everything that he's saying and doing is only making the fight more appealing. If you think of some of the fights you've seen in the past where there's been bad blood, or these guys have started arguing, or a fight broke out, he pushed him in the weigh-in. When something like that happens, it does make you think like, oh my God, these guys are gonna beat the hell out of each other. I have to see this fight. Now, the thing about boxing is a lot of the interest that generates the cash doesn't come from the hardcore fans. It mostly comes from the casual fans. And the casual fans are not always gonna really have that kind of in-depth boxing enthusiasm that the hardcore fans have. Now, especially in America, pay-per-views don't seem to sell as well as they do in the UK. And I think partly because of the price. The pay-per-views over there are something like $100. Imagine if there's like 5 big fights in a month and you're a fan of all of these guys. That's like $500 on boxing. So I think, that might have something to do with it. On top of that, they have to compete with a lot of really, really big sports over there. Basketball, the NFL, and I'm not sure about hockey, if that's anywhere up there, if it's above or below boxing, I don't know. But those two sports alone, boxing really has to compete with that. Plus the MMA, UFC does pretty well over there. So when it comes down to it, these guys have really got to try and sell it to the public. And casual fans, what's the first thing that's going to attack casual fans? It's bad blood, controversy. That Deontay Wilder guy's been talking a lot of smack. So maybe that Deontay Wilder is a bit rassies. Yeah? Who knows? All of these things will attract casual fans. Plus, casual fans love to see knockouts. If they come to watch a third fight and you see another beatdown, given people may already know, casual fans may already know of the second fight where there was a beatdown, these things are appealing. Now, I've said previously that I do see the third fight being another Tyson Fury victory. But, what if Deontay Wilder did win? What do you think would happen after that? Would we go into a fourth Wilder Fury fight? Would Wilder fight Anthony Joshua? I'm not so sure if he would. I think we're more likely to get the undisputed fight if Tyson Fury wins, because we've been down this road before with Wilder and AJ, and it just went around and around in circles, and we never got the fight. And as we know, he went and fought Tyson Fury, right? So the whole 50 million thing. AJ was doing an interview and said how if they offer me 50 million, the fight's on. So on Wilder's side of things, they took that and they ran with it. They came up with $50 million. The offer was legit. The money was there, but allegedly there was something wrong with the details. And there was a problem with where the money was coming from. It was later confirmed that the money was coming from Frank Warren, which means that's coming from BT Sport. And at that time, this was long before the whole DAZN thing, AJ only fought exclusively on Sky. Would have been a big problem if they had agreed the contract verbally and then later on said they didn't want it, because a verbal contract is binding. It would have caused them a lot of problems. So it didn't happen, and the narrative was that, oh, he didn't want the 50 million, he's too scared, blah, 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 right? So then along comes DAZN, and when Deontay Wilder was gonna fight Dominic Breazeale, they offered him, I think it was in excess of 100 million to have his fight with Breazeale, right, on DAZN, and then his next 2 fights also on DAZN. I think it was like 100 and odd million for a 3-fight deal. Whether or not Anthony Joshua was officially attached to it is yet to be seen. They said that DAZN messed up, didn't put Anthony Joshua in that deal, and they turned it down, right? So he turned down 50 million, he turned down 100 and odd million, but you know, we people who are on the outside looking in, I mean, who do you believe? What do you believe? Who was ducking who, right? So Deontay Wilder recently, he did something that was quite conniving, because when asked about after, you know, post Fury, when you hypothetically defeat Tyson Fury, are your plans to fight Anthony Joshua? Now, he didn't give a straightforward answer. His straightforward answer should have been, I'm focused on my opponent right now. I'm not talking about anyone else. Tyson Fury is my next opponent. Boom, done, that's it. But he didn't say that. He kind of, what? Oh, you're asking me? Like, hold on, bro. What are you talking about, right? So that was the first thing. The second thing that he said, when asked about the AJ fight, he said, I heard they're making up excuses already. Now, hold on a minute. You're saying something that can be neither confirmed or denied by anybody. Only your side would know if anyone's making up excuses. And of course, Anthony Joshua has come out later on in that week and saying, look, I don't know what the guy's talking about. We're not making any excuses. We want to fight. When the time comes, if the time comes, we want to fight. But we as the fans, like, we don't know who's telling the truth here. And, you know, Wilder's little cult, they co-sign on everything he says. And the narrative will be that Anthony Joshua is already making up excuses. And I don't believe that's true. I really don't. Because until this whole arbitration thing came along and derailed the Undisputed fight, that fight looked like it was going through, okay? It looked like it was going through. Whether Fury and them knew what was happening with the arbitration, you know, maybe they figured there was 2 possible outcomes, with one outcome being the most likely, and they got the outcome that they didn't expect, and they went on and fought the third fight, or, you know, they knew the whole time and they was just using this whole Undisputed thing to get attention and eyes on, to then do the old switcheroo and say we're having something else instead. And, you know, who knows, but the fact is that I believe that AJ will fight anybody. I also believe that Tyson Fury would fight anybody, but I am not confident in Deontay Wilder's willingness to fight anybody. Sorry guys, for you Deontay Wilder fans out there, I haven't got that much faith in Wilder actually chasing down the Undisputed fight. And it's not just because of this whole thing with AJ, it's because he's kind of showed signs of doing this before. You know, he didn't chase after the other titles. You know, I think Charles Martin was a stablemate of his, and they did not do enough to make Wilder versus Martin happen. And Martin ended up fighting Anthony Joshua, losing the belt, of course. I mean, he didn't fight Klitschko. I think there was multiple justified reasons for him not to fight Klitschko, but those weren't the reasons that they gave for him not fighting Klitschko. Well, I guess they kind of did, but at the same time, they were kind of bullshit reasons, because I think Wilder was multiple fights in, and he was referred to as a prospect. That's why he's not fighting Klitschko. He's still a baby, sort of thing. But then when Vitaly Klitschko was out of the picture, he went after that green belt, didn't he? He went right after that green belt. Still not interested in fighting Vladimir, but hey, you know, it is what it is. And that whole saying that he had one champion, one face, one name, He doesn't seem to say that much anymore. You know, he doesn't really seem to say much of anything anymore. And I just think that, you know, maybe you guys are thinking I'm a Deontay Wilder hater. And I've just got a lot to say about him at the moment because of all of the things that I'm noticing. And I cannot just sit there and act like I can't see it. I'm prepared to call out anybody. If I think that somebody is, you know, trying to shit in a pot and call it soup, I'm gonna call them out, you know? And I just think Deontay Wilder getting that belt back could very well mean goodbye to the Undisputed Fight for whatever reason. I don't think the Undisputed Fight will happen. But if Tyson Fury does win, then I think the Undisputed Fight will be happening by the end of the year. By the end of 2021, I do believe we will get that fight. So we'll see. So I do suspect that Tyson Fury is gonna do his job and handle his business for this third fight. I think it's the best thing to happen for boxing. If Deontay Wilder is really the guy he claims to be, he could still have a very good career post the third fight. There's a lot of fights out there for him if he really wants to. Personally, I think he should have taken a couple more fights before going back in there with Fury, just to build himself back up a bit. But, you know, he's going straight back in there and he's getting back on the horse. The man does have heart. He does. He really does, because even when he was getting that beat down, he didn't quit. He didn't stay down. He got back up and his corner had to pull him out of there. They stopped the fight. If you watch, Deontay Wilder had it in his mind that he was still going to land that punch, that he was still going to knock out Fury. He genuinely believed it. And you got to give Deontay Wilder credit for that, because he showed heart. We all saw how badly he got beaten up, and he did not give up despite the beatdown he was getting. So you got to give him credit for that. If nothing else, you got to say the man has heart. Whether or not he can box well, I'm curious about this. I'm curious as to what version of Wilder is going to show up for this third fight. If the man has learned how to box, it could make it interesting, but I still don't think it's going to be enough. I genuinely don't think it's going to be enough, people. But anyway, that's me. That's all I got to say on this subject. If you haven't already, please give me a little follow on the Boxing Objective on Instagram, where I'm sharing all sorts of boxing related content, including pictures, videos, and other exclusive bits and bobs. I would really appreciate if you was to like, comment and subscribe on this video and the YouTube channel. As this community grows, I'm thinking of ways to give you guys incentives to help the community grow. And I've decided that at the 200 subscriber mark, I'm going to be giving away some boxing related prizes. Now, all you got to do to enter in the competition is like, subscribe and leave a comment. And when we reach that landmark, I'll get in touch with you and let you know how you will receive your prize. Guys, I appreciate all the support thus far. Thanks a lot, and I will catch you all on the next video. Peace.